So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was behaviours that we don't like. So things that we don't want children to do. So sometimes it might be yelling or screaming or throwing things. It might be biting, it might be hitting. Those tend to be the more extreme ones. Sometimes there's a smaller, one that's only mildly something we don't want. So lots of people have ideas about how to get that to stop. So we can give them consequences, which is one of the things we do. And within the Montessori philosophy, we try very hard to make sure that those consequences are logical, so that it doesn't make sense if you're using rude words, for example, that when it's playtime you don't get to go out to play, because for the child those two things aren't connected. This is my words and now I'm not allowed to run around and play with my friends. But if I'm hitting my friends, being told that, well, I'm sorry, you can't sit next to your friends when you're being rough and hurting them, that is logical for the child. So one of the things we try really hard to do is make sure that the consequences we give are always logical and they make sense to the child. The second thing that's really important to realise is that the child is doing that behaviour for a reason. There is something that is going on where that is meeting some sort of need for the child. They haven't just decided to get up that day and do that thing just because. So what we need to recognise is if we're trying to minimise a behaviour, we're trying to get them not to do something, we have to give them an alternative, because they still need to meet that need. We can make it unpleasant for them to the point where they don't do that thing anymore. It's just going to come out in a different direction. It's like, stopping off the hose. You can put a kink in the hose to stop the water coming out. It's going to blow off the other end of the hose. So when we take with one hand, we have to give with the other hand. So if a child is throwing something and yelling and screaming to make a point that they're unhappy, we can give them consequences for that, but we need to give them an alternative. So we need to say, if you want this, then you've got to ask like this, or you've got to do it that way, and then we have to respond to that. So just remember, if you're trying to take something away, you have to give something at the same time. You have to role model, accept, and respond to the behaviour that you do want.